What's happening, everyone? This is What's CPAPing, the show where I wear a CPAP and I say or do things, or maybe I don't say or do things. Tonight, I'm going to talk about animal rehab. As you can see from the background, animals at rehab back there. Last week, my friend Beth sent me a picture of a fawn that was taking shelter under her deck. It was very adorable. And I texted her back and was explaining that if that were put on my next door app in my neighborhood, that the ladies in my neighborhood would lose their minds. There would be a big discussion about how that deer was abandoned. First of all, they'd say the deer was abandoned and the deer should not be lying down. These are two things that women in the suburbs where I live feel very strongly about. And there's one thing about these women is that they know the comings and goings of wildlife. And they know that deer should not be lying down unless they're sick. And they know that fawns should not be away from their moms unless something is desperately wrong. And so this has taken up many a next door thread, these women in my neighborhood. So they would lose their minds at seeing this fawn. They would definitely say that something is desperately wrong, and they would be rallying the troops to come save this little fawn. She checked her next door. She lives South Metro. There she is. Hey, Frage, I'm telling you, she lives South Metro where the women are a little bit more rational than where I live in the West Metro. So here's the thing. There is a place in the Twin Cities where they rehabilitate wildlife. And the women in my next door will stop at nothing to try and get what they think are injured animals to this rehabilitation center. Now, I will say this, when I think of an animal rehabilitation center, I like to imagine, one, that they're either animals that are coming off of a bender, maybe like a heavy night of drinking, like the ones you see on the side of the road that didn't quite make it home from a party and they had to take a nap. Like they didn't have a party buddy to help make them all the way to the door. And so they just took a little snooze on the side of the highway. Those animals, or the animals, like I like to think that they're like rehabbing from a sports injury. And so they're using like the really high tech sports equipment. They're trying to qualify for the Olympics or something. Those are I like to imagine what animal rehabilitation centers do. So the women in my next door would immediately run to Beth's house and try and get this animal in their two-seater Mercedes and rush it to the rehabilitation center. I have seen lately, one lady said that on her walk, she saw some abandoned bunnies and they were still there when she returned back. So she put them in her bra to bring them home and get them to the wildlife center. Now, I imagine that when she saw them on her way back, what she did was she immediately just turned around and they were still there and she picked them up and grabbed them. I feel like these women are abducting the animals rather than waiting an appropriate amount of time to see if they're orphaned. I feel like maybe these women need some other extracurricular activities besides kidnapping animals and trying getting them in their car. But I will say that there are a few things that get me more excited than seeing on Nextdoor that suburban women are trying to help other suburban women get animals in their car and get them across town to this rehabilitation center. Like I will follow that thread all day long. I will go out there and watch because this just gets me so excited to see that these women will stop at nothing to do this. I feel like there maybe is a market for these bras that these women, maybe they carry the bunnies back home in these bras if this is what they're doing lately. So the one lady had bunnies she found, one found squirrels, somebody else rescued a raccoon, some birds that have flown into windows. I don't know if mine is the only neighborhood where women are doing this. If these women just out here just have a better understanding of wildlife, if they're just more in tune with nature, if it's because we're closer to Lake Minnetonka and maybe they're just drinking too much lake water and they think that brings them more closer to nature. I don't know what it is, you guys. But I'm curious if anyone else's neighborhood women, it's mostly women that are doing this too. So I don't know what that's all about. But I know they're not doing it in the best neighborhood. Thank goodness. It's only in my neighborhood. So hopefully you learned something that you can take injured animals and get them rehabbed. And if you need help, let me know because I could find some ladies in my neighborhood who would be more than happy to help load them in a car and get them over there for you because they live for this stuff. All right, that's my PSA, you guys. But let me know because I want to know if I'm the only one that has these crazy ladies. All right, that's it for now. Bye, Fresh.